All right, so get ready. We're diving deep into some seriously motivating advice this time.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It is. We found this YouTube video. The title translates to Lesson with 12 plus tips that will transform 2025 into the best year of your life and all future years.
Okay, so looking ahead.
Definitely. It's in Portuguese, but don't worry, we got it all translated. And even through the screen, the speaker's energy, it's contagious. You can really feel it.
I can imagine. You know, it's fascinating how these self-improvement ideas, they kind of like transcend language and culture.
That's so true.
This video might be for a specific audience, but we all share that desire to grow, right? To find fulfillment.
Completely. And you won't believe how much practical wisdom is packed into this one video. Seriously, I was taking notes like crazy.
Oh, I bet.
So to start off, the speaker goes all in on the power of expectation.
Okay, interesting.
They're arguing that, like vividly picturing what you want. That's the key to actually achieving it, like setting a powerful intention for the year ahead.
That reminds me of the law of attraction, that idea that like attracts like.
Oh, yeah.
When you really focus on what you desire, you shift your energy. You become more open to those opportunities that support that vision. You know what I mean?
It's so true. Have you ever noticed that when you really fixate on something you want, you start seeing it everywhere?
Oh, all the time.
It's like the universe is kind of conspiring to help you out.
Well, there's a psychological basis for that. It's called selective attention. When you've got that clear goal, your brain filters information differently.
Interesting.
You get more attuned to things related to that goal, so you see opportunities you might have totally missed before.
So it's not just some mystical force at play.
Right.
It's about training your brain to focus on what you want.
Exactly.
And that leads perfectly into the speaker's next point, this idea of setting targets.
Not just goals.
Not just rigid goals, yeah. It's about choosing a direction, but being flexible on the specifics.
I like that. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a really clever way to frame goal setting, because you're not getting hung up on those rigid milestones, right? You know, the kind that can lead to disappointment if you don't hit them exactly. Instead, you're focusing on the overall direction.
Keeps you motivated, even when there are setbacks.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like using GPS. You put in your destination, but the route might change based on traffic.
Oh, for sure.
The important thing is to keep moving towards your target.
And research backs that up. This kind of flexible goal setting is more effective in the long run. It takes the pressure off perfectionism, allows for a more natural growth process.
I can see that. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The speaker gets really passionate about love being the most powerful tool for attracting, well, everything. Wealth, well-being, strong relationships. They even go as far as saying love is the only seed that guarantees growth in all areas of life.
Whoa, that's a big statement.
It is, right?
It's important to clarify what kind of love we're talking about here. The speaker is referring to agape love, a concept from ancient Greek philosophy.
Okay.
It's selfless, unconditional love that extends to all beings, not just those we're close to.
Less about romantic love, then.
Right. It's more about embodying kindness and generosity in like all aspects of life.
Yeah, so like a radiating energy of goodwill that just kind of permeates everything you do.
Exactly. Influences your decisions, shapes the reality you experience. The speaker suggests that's the key to unlocking, true abundance and fulfillment.
It makes you think, doesn't it? About how much negativity we're all holding on to and how that might be holding us back from that kind of growth.
Definitely.
And speaking of negativity, the speaker stresses how important it is to protect your mind from complaints, those toxic thoughts.
Our thoughts shape our reality. If we keep dwelling on the negative, well, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right. Attracting more of what we don't want.
The speaker compares negative thoughts to weeds choking a beautiful garden.
Such a vivid analogy. Like, if we let those weeds take over, they'll crowd out all the good stuff that's trying to grow.
Powerful image. And there's truth to it. Studies show our brains have a negativity bias. We tend to focus on the negative. It's a survival mechanism, but in the modern world, not so helpful.
So how do we combat those mental weeds?
Well, the speaker suggests developing a mental anchor, something you can focus on immediately to replace negativity with gratitude.
Ooh, I like that.
Basically a cognitive reframing technique, shifting your perspective.
Wow.
And it's backed by neuroscience.
Really?
When we're grateful, our brains release dopamine and serotonin. Those feel-good neurotransmitters, they lift our mood and reduce stress.
So it's like a rewiring our brains for happiness.
Exactly.
Have you ever noticed how simply saying thank you can make you feel lighter, more connected to others? It's like a ripple effect.
It really is. And this focus on gratitude naturally leads to the next powerful tool.
Smiling.
Smiling.
I love it. It seems so basic, but they make a strong case that smiling, even when you don't feel like it, can really impact your well-being.
It's not about faking happiness. There's a physiological response. When you smile, facial muscles send signals to your brain. It triggers the release of endorphins.
Those natural mood boosters.
You're essentially tricking your brain into feeling happier.
So to recap, choose your thoughts carefully, cultivate gratitude, and smile more often. Seems like a pretty good recipe for a positive year.
Sounds like a plan.
What's next on our journey to transformation?
Well, the speaker tackles a topic that we often overlook. Challenging those limiting beliefs.
Oh, those are tricky.
Right. They caution against just accepting beliefs based on our environment, experiences, those limited perspectives.
It's so easy to get stuck in those thought patterns, especially beliefs we've held since childhood.
Like inheriting mental frameworks without questioning if they're actually true.
Or helpful.
Exactly. And these limiting beliefs, they can act like invisible barriers, holding us back from our full potential. The speaker encourages developing a habit of questioning our assumptions, seeking out broader truths.
What a powerful thought. What's one belief you hold that might be holding you back? It's worth reflecting on.
Definitely. Once we identify those limiting beliefs, we can start to dismantle them and choose something more empowering.
So it's not just about external changes, it's about that inner transformation too.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the speaker's next point, which is all about holistic well-being. Body, mind, and spirit all connected.
How do they suggest we nurture this connection?
They offer some really actionable tips. Prioritize good nutrition, exercise, even starting small and connecting with your spirituality, whatever that means for you.
It's all connected. Can't ignore one part without impacting the others.
Exactly. The speaker even shares a personal story about overcoming adversity, adds a human touch to their message.
I can imagine.
Always inspiring to hear how others have faced challenges, right? Emerged stronger on the other side. It's a reminder that we all have that resilience within us.
Absolutely. Now, the next point is about words. The speaker points out that words are seeds.
They impact us and everyone around us.
Not just what we think, but what we say. Being mindful of our language, choosing words that lift people up instead of tearing them down.
This connects to manifestation and the power of affirmations, right?
Yes. By speaking positive affirmations, we plant those seeds of intention in our minds.
Like programming our internal GPS for success.
I love that.
It makes you think about how much negativity and complaining might be, like hindering our progress without us even realizing it.
For sure.
What does the speaker say about living in the moment, in the now?
They emphasize that the present moment is all we truly have. It's easy to get lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past, but the only moment we have control over is right now.
Like hitting the pause button on that mental chatter and just savoring the moment.
Exactly. And that leads into the next point, all about time being a precious resource.
Time is something we can never get back. What do they say about that?
They highlight it as our most valuable asset and offer some really practical advice. Learn to manage your time effectively. Prioritize what really matters. Investing our time, not wasting it.
They shared an anecdote about resisting junk food and choosing healthier options. It's a great example of how small choices make a big difference.
Little things add up.
It really does show how we make choices about how to spend our time all the time, and those choices, they shape our lives. What about all the distractions we face these days?
Yes. That brings us to distractions and dopamine. The speaker warns against those futile pleasures that hijack our dopamine system. Social media, unhealthy habits.
It's so easy to fall into that instant gratification trap, especially with all the digital things fighting for our attention. But like the speaker points out, those little bursts of pleasure often come at the expense of long-term fulfillment.
Right, and they explain how to differentiate dopamine-driven instant gratification versus that deep satisfaction that comes from pursuing your passions and living a life aligned with your values.
It's about those choices that nourish our souls, not just those quick dopamine hits.
Exactly. It's interesting, the speaker even promotes their own book on managing dopamine for positive outcomes. Clearly a topic they're passionate about.
It makes sense. Those digital distractions are everywhere, so it's important to have strategies for managing them. What did the speaker say about love?
They circle back to that theme of love, urging listeners to be generous with it, reminding us that love isn't finite, it multiplies when we share it.
It's like the more you give, the more you receive, reinforces the video's core message. Love is a catalyst for transformation.
Exactly. And then it goes into delivering more than promised, going above and beyond, creating a ripple effect.
I love that. It's not just about meeting expectations, it's exceeding them, bringing passion and dedication to everything we do.
And they highlight how that builds trust, improves your reputation and personal satisfaction. You create this positive loop when you consistently deliver more.
It's like investing in your own success by investing in others.
Exactly.
So what about setbacks? Life throws those at us constantly. What does the speaker say about dealing with those?
That brings us to resilience. Pushing through failures to reach our goals. They actually share a really motivating quote. The process shapes your character, polishes your life. It's not just about the destination, it's the journey too.
Embracing those challenges as opportunities for growth.
Right. And finally, they talk about detachment from material possessions, advising against becoming enslaved by things, focusing instead on true wealth, inner peace, love, and purpose.
A good reminder that true happiness comes from within.
And they distinguish between responsible stewardship and harmful attachment. It's about appreciating what you have without letting it control you.
Wow, what a journey through this video. I feel so inspired to make some changes.
It's amazing how much wisdom they packed into it.
Absolutely. I'm glad we got to unpack it together. Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, should we recap some of the key takeaways?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so we have the power of expectation and visualization, the importance of setting flexible targets, the transformative power of love and gratitude, the impact of our thoughts and words, living in the now, managing our time wisely, being aware of digital distractions, delivering more than promised resilience and freedom from material possessions.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. The key is to pick one to focus on. What stood out to you as the most actionable takeaway?
I'm drawn to the idea of a mental anchor to replace negativity with gratitude. It's simple, but powerful for shifting your perspective.
I love that. I'm personally going to focus on smiling more, boost my mood, and spread some positivity.
Both excellent choices. As we keep integrating these principles, I think we'll see those transformative shifts the speaker talked about.
Absolutely. Here's a final thought to ponder before we move on. The speaker's concept of being tested throughout life. How are you being tested right now? What challenges are you facing that could lead to growth?
It's a good question to think about.
It is. As we keep learning and growing, we'll develop the resilience to face those tests.
For sure.
We encourage you to check out the source material and share your own thoughts. What resonated with you? What will you do to make 2025 your best year yet?
You know, I've been thinking about that idea of being tested that we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
It really goes back to what the speaker said about setting targets instead of being so fixated on those rigid goals.
I see what you mean.
Because life throws those curveballs.
Yeah.
It forces us to adapt and grow in ways we never would have imagined.
It's so true. There's that quote, life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Exactly.
It seems like these unexpected tests, they're actually opportunities, hidden opportunities. What do you think?
Absolutely. If we can look at challenges as chances to grow and learn, even the toughest stuff becomes a valuable lesson.
So instead of getting bummed when things go off track,
Right.
we see it as part of a bigger, more meaningful journey.
It all comes back to resilience. The speaker talked a lot about that, and it's so key because life, it's not always easy.
Nope, definitely not.
We hit obstacles, make mistakes, face those disappointments. But it's how we react to those things that really defines us.
The speaker used a great metaphor for this. They compared challenges to the heat and pressure that turn a lump of coal into a diamond.
Oh, I like that.
It really does show how those intense experiences, they can bring out our true potential. We get stronger by going through those tough times. And I think that ties into what the speaker was saying about connecting with our spirituality too.
Oh, yeah.
Because when we're facing those really hard moments, having faith in something bigger can give us comfort.
I agree. Whether it's through religion, a personal practice, or just feeling connected to nature,
Yeah.
that faith can be so grounding, especially when things are uncertain.
Absolutely. And speaking of connecting to something bigger, the speaker talked about living a life of purpose, not just chasing material things, but finding meaning in our work, our relationships, our contributions to the world. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's true, isn't it? That lasting happiness comes from aligning what we do with what we value. making a positive impact. That sense of purpose, it fuels our passions and gives us that motivation to really achieve things.
Like tapping into a source of energy that's bigger than ourselves. We're part of something more. What else really stuck with you from this part?
The speaker's point about living in the now, how important that is. They reminded us that the present moment is all we have. Dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, it just robs us of the good stuff.
It's that mental chatter again, replaying past events or freaking out about what might happen.
Right. The speaker emphasized that true happiness, peace of mind, it comes from being present, appreciating the simple joys, really being in the each moment.
It's like mindfulness, right? Paying attention to what's happening right now.
Exactly. Instead of letting our minds race, we tune in to our breath, our senses, the little details around us.
The speaker gave some good tips for practicing that, like really engaging your senses, paying attention to your surroundings, slowing down and savoring each moment.
Those little moments of mindfulness, they can be so restorative, help us de-stress, connect with that inner peace, and just appreciate the world around us. It's like permission to just be.
I like that. And that kind of presence can help in every area of our lives, right? Better relationships, more focus, really experiencing life on a deeper level. Did the speaker mention anything about gratitude in this part?
They did. Even when things are tough, there's always something to be thankful for. Practicing gratitude can shift our whole perspective.
They even suggested a gratitude journal, writing down what we're thankful for each day. It seems simple, but it can really make a difference.
When we come from a place of gratitude, we tend to attract more good things. It's that positive feedback loop.
I like that idea. Did they talk about taking care of our physical health too?
They did. They emphasize how important it is. Our bodies are what carry us through life, so we need to treat them well. Healthy food, regular exercise, those are crucial for our overall well-being.
No shortcuts, huh?
They even told a story about how they changed their own health. Made small changes to their diet and exercise consistently, and it made a big difference. It's encouraging to know we don't have to overhaul everything at once.
It's those little steps that add up. Finding ways to move our bodies and eat food that makes us feel good. They were also pretty passionate about the power of words, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Our words carry energy. The speaker reminded us that they're like seeds, and they can have a huge impact on our thoughts, our beliefs, our whole reality.
They said something about negative words being like toxins, poisoning our minds and bodies.
Yeah, it was a striking image. A good reminder to choose words that lift us up, inspire us.
And they connected that to affirmations too, speaking those positive statements to reprogram our subconscious.
It's like planting those seeds of intention, nurturing them with positive self-talk and watching them grow.
It really is fascinating. And it goes back to how much power we have to shape our own lives.
Exactly. What do they say about time?
They had an interesting take on time, reminded us that it's our most precious resource, something we can never get back. So we've got to use it wisely, make conscious choices about how we spend it.
I think they even said we should make a time budget, tracking how we spend our time to see where we might be wasting it.
Yeah, that's about being intentional, putting the important stuff first, making sure what we do lines up with our values and goals.
They really stressed making time for the things that feed our souls and bring us joy. Time with family, pursuing passions, even just taking time to rest.
Yeah, it's about designing a life that feels good, balanced and fulfilling. We're always making choices about how we spend our time. And those choices, they really do shape our lives. And of course, there are those distractions that are constantly pulling at us. What did they say about that?
They talked about those futile pleasures, the ones that kind of hijack our dopamine system, that lead to instant gratification, but not lasting satisfaction.
It's a real struggle these days with all the digital stuff around us. Our brains are overloaded. It's easy to get caught in that instant gratification loop, and it can leave us feeling kind of empty.
They explain that those quick hits of pleasure, they can actually drain our dopamine over time, makes it harder to enjoy the things that used to bring us joy.
It's like our brains get numb, always needing more stimulation. We forget how to appreciate the simple things.
It's a bit scary when you think about it. The speaker was really advocating for being mindful about technology, finding that balance.
Setting those boundaries, making healthy habits, and seeking out those activities that give us real, lasting satisfaction. It's about taking back our time and attention, focusing on the things that truly nourish us.
They even talked about using technology in a positive way, using those tools that promote mindfulness and help us be more productive.
Not anti-technology, but using it in a way that supports our well-being.
Exactly. What was their overall point about love?
Oh, they circled right back to love, called it the most powerful force in the universe, urged us to choose love over fear, saying that choice can unlock so much potential and create that ripple effect of positivity.
Love is a daily choice, a choice to see the good, to forgive, to be kind, even when it's tough.
And reminding us that love doesn't run out. It grows when we share it. It's like a fire that burns brighter the more you feed it.
I love that analogy. And it leads into their message about living a life of purpose, making a difference in the world. They urged us to go beyond just meeting expectations, to always try to deliver more.
What did you think about that?
It's such a great call to action. Each of us has something special to offer. We can use those gifts to serve others, to make the world a better place. That's how we find that deeper sense of purpose.
And they said even small acts of kindness matter. They create a ripple effect, positive energy spreading outwards.
It's that interconnectedness again, reminding us that we can all be forces for good, spreading love and kindness, contributing to a more compassionate world.
Wow, what a powerful message. I'm feeling really inspired to put all of this into action.
It's amazing how much they covered in just one video.
Yeah.
And even though this is the end of part 2, I think these principles apply no matter where we are in life.
Welcome back, everyone. We're on the final part of our deep dive into this incredible video. I'm still thinking about all the wisdom we've uncovered, so much practical advice, and those deep insights all packed into one video.
It shows how universal these ideas are, Even though the speaker's from a different background, their message really hits home. We all want to grow, to become better versions of ourselves, to find that fulfillment.
Yeah, it's like we're all on this journey together, with the ups and downs, the challenges and the wins, the happy times and the sad times. It's all part of being human. And this video, it's like a guide for that journey.
That's a great way to put it. One thing that really stands out to me is the idea of consistency. It's not about these huge overnight changes. It's the small choices we make day after day. Those are the things that shape our lives.
It's like building a muscle. You don't get a six-pack after one workout.
Exactly.
It takes time, effort, showing up even when you don't want to. But eventually, you see results.
And it's the same with personal growth. We have to show up for ourselves every day, make those choices that align with our values, with our goals, and trust the process.
Trust that those little actions over time will lead to big changes.
Right. And remember, it's okay to stumble along the way. We're not aiming for perfection here.
We're embracing the messiness of being human. We're going to make mistakes, have setbacks. It's all part of it.
And that's where resilience comes in, picking ourselves up, learning from those slip-ups, and keeping going. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of how we get there.
The speaker also talked about something I think is really relevant today, that idea of detaching from material possessions.
Yeah, they said we shouldn't become slaves to stuff. We should focus on true wealth, inner peace, love, purpose, those things that money can't buy.
It's so easy to get caught in that trap, wanting more, more, more. But all that stuff doesn't really make us happy in the end.
It's about finding contentment, feeling peaceful no matter what's happening around us.
That's something we have to work on constantly, isn't it?
It is. It's a journey. Questioning our beliefs, letting go of the things that aren't serving us, cultivating that inner peace that doesn't depend on anything outside of ourselves.
It's not about denying ourselves enjoyment. It's about balance, enjoying the good things, but not letting them control our happiness.
Exactly. And I think this video gave us some amazing tools to build that inner happiness and fulfillment.
It all comes down to those daily choices, aligning our thoughts, words, and actions with our values, showing up for ourselves with intention and kindness, and really believing that we can create a life that feels true to who we are.
And remembering that we're all in this together. None of us are alone in this.
We can support each other, learn from each other, and encourage each other along the way.
The speaker ended with a message that really stuck with me. Go out there and make a difference. Each of us has something special to offer, and when we use our gift to help others, it makes the world a better place. And it gives us a deep sense of purpose.
What a perfect way to wrap up this deep dive. I'm walking away feeling energized and hopeful.
Me too. I can't wait to see how all of us use these insights to create positive change.
Thank you all for joining us on this incredible journey. We hope you found it as insightful and inspiring as we did. And remember, you have the power within you to create a truly transformative year and a transformative life.
Keep diving deep, keep shining your light, and never stop believing in yourself.